You're listening to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, with Rye for Borough, Steve for Newcastle United, and Ted for Sunderland. Buongiorno, boys. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Oui, oui. Signor Teddy.
Yeah, see, I've used Italian, he goes into French, and yet again, another language you can butcher, mate. Welcome along to Three's a Crowd, the North East Footy Podcast, and especially a big hello and congratulations to Rye for making it 2 weeks running. You're now as reliable as Ian Acho missing a sitter, mate. Well done for that. And welcome to Steve, who has some new headshots. I've noticed. I think it was either on your Insta or somewhere anyway, but I noticed a little whimsical kind of feel about these headshots, mate. Showing some range to this acting ability. I'm liking it. I'm liking
Correct.
it. He's not just. He doesn't just play hard, man. No. Steve does whimsy. Yeah. So for any casting wallers watching this, he's your man. He can do whimsical and nutter as well.
Coronation Street. Coronation Street.
It'd be great. I did send Steve that little link earlier on. I don't know what the American series was, but it had somebody trying to act in what they deemed as a Geordie accent.
Yeah.
And it's possibly the most horrendous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, it was just... Oh, mate, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. But anyway, before we kick off, lads, we want to say a big get well soon. I'm sure Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough fans are united and a little bit shocked to see the news that Eddie Howe was taken to hospital on Friday night. So obviously, times like that would definitely want to unite. I'm led to believe it's a mild case of sepsis, Steve. Is that right?
That's what's flying around at the moment. But I mean, he did have a tooth out a couple of weeks ago, which was causing him a bit of pain. He mentioned it at the press conference.
Yeah.
There's certain people saying that that's what it is. Rumors flying around, nothing concrete yet, but yeah, it sounds like that's potentially going to be, the case. If it is, then it's awful whenever you get anything like that. But look, bad enough for him to be in hospital. Bad enough for him to be laid up and not have any involvement in training this week. But the rumor mill is obviously doing the rounds and hopefully will be out. In time for next weekend. The latest suggestion is he won't be available for the Crystal Palace game midweek. I think they're just going to take the time. But whatever it is and whatever he's had, it's been bad enough to hospitalise him, and we wish him well. And I've got no doubt that Tyndall and Graham Jones will be able to do the job. And let's hope that the players do it for Eddie today.
Absolutely.
I would have thought. Can I just suggest as well? I think as well. One thing with Eddie Howe being in hospital as well is, and the privilege of it at the moment is that when the nurse comes in and says, "Can you pee in the cup?" he can say, "Which one?"
Hey, very clever. Very clever. He sat up all night thinking of that.
Speaking of acting, some people should have a non-speaking role sometimes. No, very good, Ryan. Very good. That was very sharp.
I'm here all week.
Thanks to your 4-year-old or 5-year-old who actually managed to write that one down for you. That's great.
Thank you. Please. Coronations.
Yeah. Oh, hey, mate, they're going to be on the blower. You just watch. Before we get started, lads, obviously there's a lot to talk about. The games that have been played, the games that are yet to play. We're going to make a little bit of a change to our predictions this week, lads, because all three teams have 3 games coming up in the next 7 days. So we're actually going to go for a points predictor off our 3 games. So get your thinking caps on about that. What else are we going to talk about? What the fact? We've got a what the fact, lads. What the fact? Exactly. So anybody who has never ever watched this show before, I find that hard to believe because obviously we must be into our millions by now.
Easy.
So I
with
have
those types of jokes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we are cutting edge humour, really, aren't we? Yes, so I have a wonderful fact about North East football. I'm going to give you 3 clues to guess what the fact. So, steamrollering on to this first one, gents. The first clue, Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0. Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0.
So something those two have achieved that Middlesbrough haven't.
I think that's probably safe to say. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's probably safe to say. My name's Ted, and maybe.
That's really the lowest form of way. When you know you're beat.
Yeah. Keep our powder dry till the next clue.
Just the I'm sat, Roger.
Interesting. Okay.
Right, so we'll give you some more clues as the show goes on today, but I'm going to get my bit out the way with lads. I'm going to have is it a rant? It might turn into a rant, so bear with us, because it was quite disappointing from Sunderland yesterday. A couple of observations I made, a couple of questions I want to come to you lads with as well. Obviously, anybody else who saw the Sunderland game yesterday, feel free to whack your comments in there as well. First thing I noticed yesterday was Isidore, and I think Isidore has lost a bit of confidence. We've talked in the past about never fall in love with an on-loan player, which is, 9 times out of 10 is true. The other thing you should never do is sign the loan player, because all of a sudden, right, you've seen this with a couple of players that have come back to Middlesbrough and actually signed full-time. So, Isidore's just lost a bit of confidence. There's some actually saying that he seems less committed since he signed the permanent contract with us. I don't know whether that's the exact case, to be honest with you, but there just seems to be a lack of cutting edge, and he's very twisty. All right, he's a target because he is a very talented player. There's no two ways about that, right? You've seen that firsthand against Middlesbrough as well. He's a handful, but at the same time, he's still trying to adapt to the English game, and when you get central defenders who, are going to barge you about a little bit, he's looking for the free kick straight away rather than playing to the whistle. So and I think that comes when you start looking for fouls, Steve. I think that's when you kind of like when you know you're not putting your faith in your ability. You're just trying to like sort of drag the decisions out the referee as much as you can.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that Regis Labrise is persevering with him right now, and a goal will do him the world of good. He just needs that one goal. But right now, it just doesn't seem to be happening. And I think when that's not happening, that's feeding through the rest of the team as well. Next thing I noticed was Tommy Watson. I thought he was poor. Personally, he's not committed to the club. That's absolutely cast iron. He's already signed a transfer to leave in June. As soon as everybody else is off on holiday, he's moving to Brighton. I don't think he's committed. And to be honest, I don't think he should be anywhere near the first team squad, and certainly not playing in the remaining games. We know that Lafay's coming back from injury, and I'll come back to that shortly. He can play on the left. I think Mayenda could possibly play on the left as well, and provide that little bit of support that maybe just give Isidore that little confidence boost as well. But yeah, Watson I thought was very, very poor for somebody who's rumoured to be an £11 million signing. Hey, we've done some great business there as far as I'm concerned. Lafay, like I just mentioned, obviously he's coming back from quite a long-term injury, and as much as I've said, yes, he can play on that left, we need to play him further up and in that central role, because for me, when he came on yesterday, it was almost like a waste of his talents, because he was sat deep, almost like a pairing CDM with it just didn't seem to fit his style of play. You want somebody like Lafay playing through balls, playing almost as a number 10 rather than like sort of sitting further back. I thought it was a bit of a waste of his talents. I don't know. It doesn't show him up in the best light, to be honest. I felt there was a few people grumbling and a few people saying like, well, I don't think he's as good as people think he is. And I think it's because he's being misused at this moment in time. He's not being played to his full potential. So, yeah, again, with that one, played our best probably when he did come on, though, after substitutes are made. This is getting to be a real, real worry with Sunderland. We're only starting to turn it on when we've made substitutes and we're 1-0 down. And you can't do that. And if we did somehow fluke it into the Premier League, we'd get absolutely torn apart in the Premier League playing like that. You can't, wait till changes are made and then start and playing. Hopefully they're going to turn it on and run riot against championship teams. Final thing, and there's a question following this one. The standard of the refereeing in this league is absolutely appalling. Now, yesterday's ref wasn't the worst I've seen this season. I think that probably had to go to the guy who was refereeing the West Brom game. I even put out on X that this is the worst refereeing performance I've seen by far this season. Tagged West Brom fans into it as well. And for all we won the game, the only thing that was kind of like consistent with that was the fact that he was absolutely crap for both sides. And we saw a bit of that yesterday. Swansea should have had a penalty, without a shadow of a doubt. Luke O'Nien, there's no two ways about it. He tripped him. Now, we should have had a penalty at the other end. The Swansea goal resulted from a free kick that should never have been awarded. Then the Swansea defender who pulled Isidore back when he was through. I mean, he tackled him, dispossessed him, and Isidore's through on goal. Right, you've seen this before. When Isidore has the ball at his feet and he's clean through, there's no catching him. The Swansea defender gets a yellow card for it instead of a red card, which was just absolutely unbelievable, to be honest. So the question, I suppose, what I want to ask is, I would now come to the conclusion that the refs in the bigger divisions aren't up to the requirement of the task, and are we going to see VAR spread? What I mean by that is, are we going to see VAR in the Championship? Furthermore, can you see more automation actually coming in to make decisions in the game? We'll start with you, Steve, because obviously you're used to VAR now. Well, but just because you're used to it doesn't mean you accept it. But I'm saying, we'll come to you first. Thoughts on that, mate? Are we going to see more of it and more automation as referees' performances decline?
I've been to the gym today already, and I've been talking to another Newcastle fan about this, because semi-automated offsides have come in now. They're crap. They're just as bad as VAR. We saw one yesterday. It took ages for the decision. The whole point of semi-automated offsides is that it's quick. It's not quick. It's still the same. And I think this is all part of the Americanization of the game. I think we're slowly being made, as football fans, to get used to delays in football. Because I think the grand plan of these American owners who've crept quite quietly into the game is to eventually create maybe quarters instead of halves to increase advertising revenue by having more adverts during games, and making a 90-minute game of football probably into a 3-hour experience where it's full of families who are all drinking Coke and eating hot dogs. I mean, this is where we're at with our beautiful game. It really feels as if we're starting to go down that road. And people laughed at me, Mitch and Stu and Steve Hasty on our podcast a few years ago when we were referring to this quite openly. But look at how many teams now are owned by American owners in the Premier League alone. But then going into the EFL, have a look at how many American owners are there now. They've come in slowly, quietly. You just referred to Birmingham earlier on about the money that they've spent, but there's lots of foreign owners coming in and a lot of American owners. And what will happen is in the Premier League and in the EFL, if there's a majority of American owners working and running teams, they'll have the decision. They'll be able to make those decisions, and that's where we're at. So, from a technical point of view, it's not working as well as it works in other sports. I don't know how they can't get it right in football at all compared to rugby, cricket. I could go on, but we just don't seem to be able to get it right. And it's becoming annoying. It's taken away the spontaneity of a celebration for the player. It's taken away the enjoyment in that kind of celebration for the supporters. And it will come into the Championship, and it will affect the Championship. You'll go through exactly what we've had to go through for the last few years, and it's awful. It's awful. It's killing the game. It really is killing the game. And as Ian Brownlee says, referees now talking into mics like the NFL. It's an absolute joke. It is part and parcel of it. And I'll chuck in something which isn't rule related. And that's what we saw last weekend. Don't condone it at all. The abuse that Phil Foden got in the Manchester derby, yes, it was awful. Vardy got a bit of stick, as he does in every game, by our supporters for Leicester. But I know that there are supporters out there from different clubs. I've seen it online who've been, probably happened at Newcastle as well, who have been picked out by stewards or police, arrested and banned for singing songs. So that's the next thing. They're going to start taking away the what we've called banter for years. That's now going to stop. If you're singing a song about a particular player or singing about something which nowadays is considered inappropriate, you run the risk of being arrested at a football match and being given a 3-match banning order. That's going to change as well. That'll change the demographics. If you want my honest opinion, lads, I mean, I'm in my 50s. Ted, you're the same age. Rise a bit young. You're how old are you? I thought you were
46. I now look like I've had a hard bit around.
I thought you were the same age as me.
I've just turned 22.
You rise younger than
plus tax.
But we're looking at they don't want the 50-somethings at the game anymore.
Of course not.
And I just think it's changing. Because
we haven't got the disposable income. No. You're absolutely right, Steve, because it's all about disposable income, and you're right. It's the demographics, and you even saw with like sort of this whole idea that what Newcastle fans were being sounded out about the was it the Tunnel Club that they were going to call it or something like that. Yeah. Where they were going to build this new sort of hospitality experience.
One at Man City and there's one at Spurs.
Yeah. And for me, that is the biggest, sign from a football club that they don't want working people there.
£12,000 a game to sit in the Tunnel Club. Chelsea has one as well, I think. I think there's something like 12 seats where you sit basically at the dugout. You'll have noticed on some of the TV coverage that people are sitting there. But yeah, literally these.
Michael Owen did that for half his career.
Yeah, and he got paid a lot more than he got paid a lot more than $12,000.
Right, coming to you next, mate. Obviously, you've seen these frustrations as well. You've seen some absolutely horrendous refereeing decisions. How long have we got left in the Championship before VAR comes in?
Teddy boy, I said this to you on episode 18 of Three's the Crowd, which I was appearing on, and you told me to catch a ship back to where I came from. And now look at you, some mere episodes later, here we are saying you want VAR. I tell you what, Teddy boy, I've wanted it all season. It's a joke.
I don't want it.
The referees,
but if the standard
referees
doesn't
cannot
improve,
referee, mate. We saw it yesterday at Millwall. They are shocking, mate. They are getting decisions wrong after time, and the linesmen are doing exactly the same. We saw 2 goals for Leeds offside. Now, I don't want to win like that, even though we lost. If we had have then turned a result into that and then lost, it's too inconsistent. They have the technology. Now, the problem is you got the clubs like Wrexham. How good are Wrexham, by the way? Ryan, how are we? Thanks for listening. I think they need to look at getting some sort of cheaper alternative for the Championship, whether it's VAR 0.20 or something like that. I don't know what you can come up with, but fly me over and I'll have a camcorder and I'll tell you. Do you know what I mean? I'll give me the decision. It doesn't take that much, but there are lots of stadiums inside the Championship that have got the enough income and structure and support to then insert VAR. If VAR is going to come into the cups, and all this sorts of stuff, then it's inevitable. It's inevitable. The Championship is one of the richest competitions in terms of whoever plays in that Wembley playoff. They call it the richest game in football to make it to the Premier League. How can we not have that when the game and that amount of money is on the line and not have proper officiating? And if you want to close the gap between the Championship and the Premier League, which we keep talking about, then play on the same way the Premier League does, so that when you get to the Premier League, you're on the same wavelength. The rules are the same. The VAR is the same. Everything is played out exactly like it is in the Premier League. It should be exactly the same, and we need to close that gap. And my take is 100% we need to have it, because then I get it. It ruins the atmosphere. It slows it down. But at least the decisions have had that chance to have a second look at, and you're not sit here frustrated after time again from a human error. I get the referees, but when the referees, they don't just do Championship. They go up to the Premier League and they've got VAR. Then they'll come back next week and referee Sunderland. And then all of a sudden, I don't have VAR. Oh, the pressure's on. I've got to get this right. Oh, I might have made a mistake. Do you get what I'm saying? And so when they're bouncing between leagues, it's all different. They've got to have the same structure. And I think if you're a referee, you got to do Championship and Premier League, and then that's it. You can't go to League One or League Two. I know there's a referee shortage. It's not going to happen, but that's how it is. It needs a serious looking into.
I can see a day where it's actually going to get to where a referee will just make the obvious decisions, like, corner, throw in, whatever. And most of the key decisions will be referred to a video referee. I can honestly see it actually switching rather than using VAR as backup. I think I can see VAR actually being used to referee the game. And as Steve and as Roger has said as well, it's good for hot dog sales then.
That's what somebody said to me. That the guy I was talking to this morning said exactly that. He says there'll come a time when there's no referees.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only time they'll have it is obviously remembering the main point of having a referee on the pitch, which is to oversee the safety of the players. That's literally the only task they'll be there on the pitch to oversee, I think, shortly. But just a quick point on Sunderland just before we move on. I'll give you the second clue for what the fact. Now, obviously, we're guaranteed the playoffs now. That was done after the last game, the draw against Norwich City. Do you think I'm overreacting, or is the form lately for Sunderland a little bit worrying going into these playoffs? We'll start with you, Ryan, because I guess you're closer to it.
Yeah. It's interesting, mate, because you could probably say the same about Chris Wilder and his merry men. I mean, after yesterday's performance, 3 now losses on the bot. I mean, you and Sheffield United are starting to drop some important games. The big thing I think is that you've created a gap large enough that you can kind of not worry about it. I think the playoffs for you and Sheffield United is confirmed. I think it's that 5th and 6th spot that's going to be up for grabs now. Look, I think going in there, you want to have confidence. You want to see. We saw it with Middlesbrough in Michael Carrick's very first season. We went in there on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, and then we just played absolutely atrocious against Coventry in both the home and away leg. So having that confidence, having that, the going on a bit of a run, and you can see in football when you get on a bit of a run how easy it is to sort of get momentum and stuff like that. So you want momentum, you want the boys to be firing going in, because when you make the playoffs, it's a whole new ball league, mate. Because then everything that you've worked for in that season goes out the window. It is 1 home game, 1 away game. Best of gets to Wembley, and you need to be ready to get go. And if you get a home game to start off with or an away game, you need to be get there. And you're putting up, you're getting the best teams in what's the championship. You're going to Coventry. You're going to have to play Sheffield United. You're going to have to play, Bristol City, who are up there as well. So you need the momentum, mate. And I think the form going in towards the end of the season for you guys is a little bit worrying. I'm not going to lie, but I think that just getting there is a massive tick, especially in Regis's very first season. I think it's got that Michael Carrick sort of essence written all over it. When you get there, it's going to be very interesting. It depends who that 5th and 6th team is as well for me as well. That's going to be a massive test. Coventry with Frank Lampard's got that little bit to it. Bristol City seem to be coming out of nowhere. Millwall are on a late charge as well. So it's very, and Millwall against Sunderland with Alex Neil in the dugout. I mean, that's just got funniness written all over it. So yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. But yes, I completely agree. The form is worrying because you really, really want to take momentum into those playoffs.
Absolutely. Steve, just quickly before we move on, mate, obviously Regis Labrise has given a few of the young lads a bit of a tryout. Harrison Jones got his first start for the club yesterday. Is it about blooding some of those youngsters while we sort of run into those playoff games now, or should we actually be playing our best squad and actually playing ourselves into form again?
Look, at the end of the day, this has been a fascinating run for both teams. Middlesbrough, obviously had to play Leeds. It was never going to be easy. We all know Leeds usually fall apart. They haven't. In fact, they've done the polar opposite since that little blip that they had. You've always got to play your best teams for me, unless. I mean, Sunderland's a different case. Sunderland are more or less guaranteed playoffs now, and there's no issues for them. Borough have no option. They've got to, because Coventry's breathing down their neck. At the moment, it's between Borough and Coventry. But Borough needs to find form again quickly. We always knew Millwall was going to be a tough game for them. We said this a couple of weeks ago when Sunderland played. They're such an awkward team to play against, Millwall. And it's fine margins at the moment. It's a 1-0 defeat for Borough, and it's disappointing for them. But still all to play for. Be interested to see how Coventry get on against Hull. They're in the driving seat now. If they can get 3 points, it's going to start looking increasingly difficult. But for me personally, unless you've secured your place in the playoffs, you always have to play your best team. Listening to your little rant there, I can't believe Watson is playing. I genuinely can't believe Sunderland are playing Watson. What is this? I mean, it's not as if he's a top player either.
No, exactly.
I mean, they're pulling their pants down for the amount that they're going to get for him as well. But for me, I just don't understand Labrisse's loyalty. How's that going to feel in the dressing room for somebody who's committed their future to the club? I was
sitting watching the Norwich game, Steve, and I said to Mrs. Ted, I honestly feel like they don't want to pass to him.
Yeah.
I swear, and I'm sure that's not the case, because the professional players, and I'm sure that's not the case, but there was times where I thought, the obvious ball is to the left wing, and I'm going, they're not using it. I just had this weird feeling that there is that little bit of, like, not animosity, but that sort of detachment already. And you can't have that. You're absolutely right.
He shouldn't be anywhere near the first team, like you said, mate. I mean, he's already signed for Brighton. It's done. Once you've signed, whether you sign now, later, I would not want that player anywhere near my first team.
With the reserves.
Exactly. You've seen other clubs done it, and it's on Regis then to manage that, because you're absolutely right. It like exactly what Steve said. It makes the other lads, question their, the commitment and all that of you. And, you're not, what does he care? He's leaving. Do you know what I mean? And that's something to be said about the psyche of that. So, look, I don't think it's good enough.
Look at us all agreeing. Well, let's cause an argument. Let's go back to what the fact.
You only start arguing when he starts Googling.
It's true, mate. Well, we'll cover a little bit of Middlesbrough. We're going to leave Newcastle at the end, Steve, because obviously it's you play today. So I'm sure you have all your stats and everything ready for that one. I look forward to that bit. You see, I like that Steve does his homework on stuff like this. It makes us look better. Right, so what the fact this week? Remember, what the fact is, I've got a wonderful fact about North East football. I'm going to give you 3 clues to help you guess what the fact. The first clue that I gave you was Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0. Your second clue, you're not going to like this, right? Your second clue, if Borough had one, that's all they'd probably go on about and have a celebration every year after it.
Oh, okay. What a game this is. I love it. No, this is fantastic. Yep.
This is to encourage you to come for a third week. I'll give you that clue again. First clue was Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0. The second clue is if Borough had one, that's all they'd probably go on about and have a celebration every year after it.
I've got it. I know what it is.
Really?
It's times that Newcastle have received free beer once, times Sunderland have given away free beer once, and Middlesbrough have never given away or received free beer.
No need to get personal about it. That's
you brought it up. You started
I've got feelings, mate. I've got feelings. Come on. It's not that. It's Smoggy Walks. It's not FA Cup wins. No, because Sunderland have definitely won it more than once. Newcastle have definitely won it more than once. Middlesbrough, yeah, you're right about the Middlesbrough bit.
We have 6 times.
You have? What?
No, won it. Yeah, we have. He said fan cups.
Not on FIFA.
He wrote fan cups, not FA cups. He wrote fan cups. We've won fan cups.
Cup wins.
Yep.
Yeah, have you? Have you got enough fans to win a cup?
Right. This game sucks.
Wow. Right, it's getting personal now. So there's your 2 clues so far.
Oh, but we've had England captains is not a bad shout.
Still by me reaction, Graham. It's not, but I like the way you're going with
I like it, yeah.
Wonderful celebrations. No, that's not it either, that one. No, unfortunately not. We'll quickly cover off Middlesbrough, right? I didn't see the game, to be honest, mate, but it sounds like the opposite of your Josh Coburn meme actually happened, where you thought Josh Coburn might help Michael Carrick out with some inside info about Millwall. Didn't quite happen, but it's a horrible place to go if your form's even a little bit iffy. Millwall have ground out a result is that it now? Are the playoffs done, or is there still hope while it's mathematically possible?
The biggest point for me is that we haven't beaten anyone in that top 6 now. I mean, you look at it now. Unfortunately, the writing's on the wall now. We've lost to Burnley, we lost to Leeds, we've lost to Sunderland, we've lost to Millwall, who are in there. We lost to Bristol City. Do you know what I mean? All these teams, Burnley as well. We've lost to all of them. So that's the top 6 right there. And when we haven't beaten any of them on our day, whether it's at home or away, that's it. You're not good enough. Do you know what I mean? So we're exactly where we should be, and that's as sad as it can come. We had against the top. Now you said to it, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it was last week, Teddy Boy, when you said the fixture list had been kind to us. It really had. We played some shocking teams. We played Blackburn, who are in free fall. We played Stoke City, who God knows how bad they've been. Do you know what I mean? So we've had some good wins against poor oppositions, but we haven't had any good wins against good opposition, and that's my key factor there. The writing's on the wall, and Borough fans have had enough. I mean, yesterday's team selection saw the drop of Iheanacho, but before that, Michael Carrick came out and said in his press conference that he doesn't know what all the fuss is about Kelechi Iheanacho and how bad he's been. And then he benches him. So he's not only come out and said to the fans that to pull our heads in and doesn't know what all the fuss is about, but then the very next game, he benches him to make sure that what we're saying was right. It doesn't make any sense, Michael. I mean, it's so frustrating to see Middlesbrough be in a position where it is one of the easiest championships I have seen in a long time. Now, don't get me wrong. I still get there are good teams in there, but there is a lot of teams not running away with it. We haven't got the Burnleys we've seen in the past couple of years. We haven't seen the likes of the Brightons and stuff like that have come up and stayed up. Do you know what I mean? We haven't seen them this year. This year, it is the 3 bottom teams from the Premier League that got relegated, all battling for that top 3 again, which means it made it easier for us to sneak into that playoffs, and we haven't done it. We're not meeting our goals. Now, mathematically, yes, you can say all you want. We can still make it. But mathematically, the game, you've got the best team on paper. The football's not played on bloody paper. It's played on grass. You know what I mean? And we need a stronger belief that Middlesbrough can score, find some form and get some goals, because the past 2 games we've shown that we're not anywhere near it. We've now got Plymouth on Friday night, which is, bloody hard, because Plymouth obviously are fighting to stay up, and you would think the will to stay up in the championship is stronger than whatever we're trying to push for as well. Plus, we just don't have the goals. The killing blow, and we said it at the time, the killing blow for the past 2 seasons has been our January window. It's not been good enough. You can't lose your Morgan Rogers. Everyone's seen what Morgan Rogers is doing now, even in Champions League against PSG. Yes, we lost him. Latte Lath, 22 million to Atlanta, our top striker, lost him in January. You know what I mean? You can't keep losing these best players in January and expect to have a top run towards the end of the season. It's not good enough. Michael Carrick's got 4 games or so to save his career at Middlesbrough, or I think in the off-season we need to rebuild again, and I'm sick of it, but every summer it seems to be a rebuild. We need to go back to square one, and God knows who's going to leave and not stick around, because year after year, you sort of give these young kids, these Hayden Hackneys and these boys that want to play in the Premier League, the goal of stick with us. We've got it this year. We've got it. And it just keeps falling short and short and short. And I think we're being let down. I think we're being let down every January, and I think we're being let down at the moment by the inability to change things up and freshen things up, which we've seen work for Coventry in Frank Lampard. We've worked with Sunderland in a fresh manager in Regis Lebris, and we've seen work with Bristol City in Liam Manning there as well. So writing's on the wall for me.
Yeah, and I think partly right. It seems to be, you kind of touched on a little bit about replacing outgoing players, and it worries me as a Sunderland fan that if we do the same, you are going to lose the likes of Latte Lath, because they are above championship quality. All right, he's just moved to a questionable league to show that, but all the same, he's gone for a lot of money. You think you would have to at least recruit somebody who is youthful, who can grow into that role and become as good as them, if not more, and then obviously sell them on at a profit. And that's what worries me with the likes of Job and players like that. If we don't go up and teams come sniffing around for them, then we need to be able to replace them well. And that's just something that over a few seasons now, I don't think Middlesbrough have done that. And that's kind of led them to be where they are right now. I used to look at a Middlesbrough lineup at the Championship and go, decent lineup. That's a side that could get into the Premier League, maybe even stay there. But the likes of Johnny Howson and them now, they're just so much older, and kind of must be his last season, mate, surely. And it's
the shameful thing is, mate, is that he's literally our best player again yesterday against Millwall. Our 37-year-old captain is literally, arguably, the player of the season, and that goes to show a lot. I mean, with losing Ben Doak, our young 18-year-old Liverpool loanee, destroyed our season. Then selling Latte Lath destroyed our season. Josh Coburn, who's gone on to score 5 or 6 goals, important goals for Millwall, has obviously, we've let some of our good players go, and we've also lost them to injury. Now, I get that you can't, Michael will be sitting there going, geez, I've had some tough luck in 2 years, where I've come out after a really good season. I've got really bad injuries. Well, Michael, unfortunately, mate, that's your backyard to take care of, whether it's your training regimes, whether it's the rest and recovery, the squad rotation. Michael backs himself in on picking the same 11 week in, week out. Well, unfortunately, in the championship, when you have to play Friday night, back it up on Tuesday, play on Friday night, back it up on Tuesday, you need to rotate the squad. Because what happens? Oh my God, injuries. And that's what we're seeing year after year. And we've lost all our centre backs. We've got 3 or 4 goalkeepers in the bloody sick bin as well. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious in terms of that as well, to say that it's bad luck when you've had 2 seasons back to back that are exactly the same. When that's happening, they say, what do they say, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
Yeah, true enough, mate. True enough. Steve, we have Jules in the chat. Jules is very, very, very lively this morning. Obviously, yes, massive congratulations to your hometown club, Jules. We were talking about that a little bit off air. Stansfield, it is going to be tricky to hold on to him, I think, without a doubt. But well done to Birmingham. But Jules has a favourite part of this show, Steve. Are we ready for it?
We are. Here we go. We've seen a lot of these kicking around this week. I love this one. Man United fan, starter pack, 1999 treble, Glazers out and some tissues. Looks a bit like Melly, who I had on NUFC Matters yesterday. It was
we need to get him on here.
We'll have to get him on, yeah. Tino Asprilla with his coat, his brown ale and his gun. Matt Target. I feel a bit sorry for Matt.
Oh, jeez.
He's not that bad.
Oh, my God.
There are some unfair ones kicking around, but my favourite one was this. Good old Brucey. A cabbage, some bacon, how to lose, and a bottle of water. Quality.
Beautiful.
Absolutely quality, yeah. So there are quite a few of them knocking around. Some are complimentary, some aren't so complimentary. This was a great tweet from... It was a 2-part. Imagine these two sharing a pitch in their prime, and then that was the reply. They did. That was quite quick, wasn't it? Really quick.
Love that.
Here's the guy I was talking about last week. Man of the Match award in Norway's first division. He got the eggs, lads. Remember I was telling you last week? I put the picture. Three things of eggs.
Three eggs. Hey, 3 dozen eggs. That's yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent.
The sponsors must have shelled out for that one, Steve.
Here's Kevin De Bruyne next season after playing 90 minutes of football in Saudi Arabia. And praising mothers for mothering. Do me a favour, that's their job. This was Roy Keane last week. And here's the Everton bra, which is on sale now. Average support with no cups, lads. And lookalikes used to. This is a brilliant one. The Daily Mail picked this one up. A Nigerian fan's gone viral for looking almost identical to Bukayo Saka. He's even got the arse.
Jesus, that is bang on that.
We often wonder why VAR get things wrong, and sometimes TV cameras tend to lose track. Well, this is why.
One job, mate. One job.
Richard Keys. If Gary Lineker was ever offered the chance to join Sky, it wasn't in my time. We were unscripted, which meant no autocue. That ruled line him out as well. Perhaps it's changed now. I don't know. He's awful, him, isn't he? He really is. He hates Newcastle with a passion as well. The BBC would like to apologise as well to viewers for Newcastle United team captain Bruno Guimaraes using foul language yesterday. It was obviously the parade during the Carabao Cup celebrations. The club's reprimanded the Brazilian and informed that the word Sunderland is unacceptable to use while families and young children are watching.
Get him!
This was Kieran Maguire this week. My 3-year-old granddaughter drew a picture of me this week at nursery. I've sold it to myself for 10 million as it's got great sentimental value, which I'll leave as an outstanding unpaid balance in the books. If it works for Todd, it works for me. And Saudi Arabia taunting the USA this week.
Oh, boy.
And BBC Sport, England have been knocked out of the Amputee Football World Cup after losing their quarter-final to Brazil. Josh replied, "Is there not a second leg?" Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable. The Arsenal ones keep on coming. Happy Saturday, Arsenal fans. Pentagon, hexagon, octagon, titlegon. And Jacob Murphy, 2025. I love that.
I love it.
And as I get older, lads, I find I only need 3 shops: Specsavers, Boots and Greggs. My life is just specs and drugs and sausage rolls. And I was in a hurry this morning, lads. Last couple. Never forget this iconic Ian Holloway quote about Cristiano Ronaldo. He's 6 foot, fit as a flea, and good looking. There's got to be something wrong with him. Hopefully he's hung like a hamster. That'll make the rest of us feel better. Although my missus has a pet hamster and his cock's massive. Always guarantee Ian Holloway.
I want to meet Ian Holloway. Like, he's just gold. Absolute gold.
Top 2 this week. One was a late entry by Ted, which was this one, Mark Goldbridge. Yeah. United let one of the best shot stoppers leave in his prime for free and then spent 50 million replacing him with someone worse. It's like divorcing Margot Robbie and paying Pat Butcher to marry you. Apparently, Anon has been dropped from the squad today. So
yes.
And the winner this week is this one. Before it gets out of date, sold out Leeds United defibrillator. Quality. If you've got a tweet of the week, a troll of the week, sorry, get them over to us, and maybe we can feature them on this show. I didn't want to include this one because I just wanted to keep Ted in suspenders, thinking that he'd missed out on getting something here. They are Sunderland FC this week, the club that keeps on giving. A uniquely formulated drink designed to support endurance and enhance hydration during prolonged exercise. Use Trisport 5 for an exclusive discount. Go to Sunderland to advertise Carabao. Newcastle fans were inundating that particular tweet. It's a great read if you haven't seen it. That literally was one of those moments where the guy at Sunderland social media just hit the send button and walked away. Thanks, everybody who sent them in. Get some more.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Get some more for next week. Often I'm described as lively on a Sunday, Ted, says Jules.
Well, there you go, Jules. Always nice to have you with us. Before we move on to Newcastle United, which I know obviously a lot of you are waiting to hear from Steve now, I'm going to give you the third clue for what the fact, then we'll move on. I'm also going to print the clues in the chat as well. So, your first clue was Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0. The second clue was if Borough had one, that's all they'd probably go on about and have a celebration every year after it. Your third clue is a poem. It's a poetic clue. A pre-season spectacular, it really is a must. The big clubs, they all have one. The small clubs have a fizzy pop tin of rust. I'll give you that one more time. A pre-season spectacular, it really is a must. The big clubs, they all have one. The small clubs have a fizzy pop tin of rust.
Pre-season tournaments then? Is it Newcastle won the Salah Cup 2 years in a row? Sunderland have won some kind of pre-season cup and Middlesbrough never have?
Go on, give me more.
Oh! He's on to it!
Oh.
Come on, cook, Stevie.
Well, that's it. I mean, Newcastle have staged the cup and won the cup 2 years on the trot. Have Sunderland done the same? I don't know. Middlesbrough would have done that. I don't think.
No.
I'm amazed nobody's got this yet, by the way. I genuinely thought this was an easy one that you would get. I honestly did.
Well, I'm not far off then.
So no, you're not far off.
I got half a point.
He gets half a point.
I wouldn't go that far. 0.25.
In the Toto Cup, says Blue.
No, that's got nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz. No,
You're getting colder. All right, well, give somebody in the chat.
It's in the chat now. All three clues are in the chat. If you have a look further up there, Newcastle United 1, Sunderland 1, Middlesbrough 0. If Borough had one, that's all they go on about and have a celebration every year after it. And then the poem, a pre-season spectacular, it really is a must. The big clubs, they all have one. The small clubs have a fizzy pop tin of rust.
By the way, 240 watching live this morning, so thank you for everyone's support.
God bless you. God bless you for putting up with us. Steve, speaking of putting up with, you've had to put up with us talking championship rubbish. I was miles off with the prediction last week. I thought Leicester might have just upset the odds and sneaked a 1-0 win, but it was a very, very solid win, mate. And obviously, as we've already alluded to, Jacob Murphy is now a shoo-in for the Ballon d'Or. Today it's Manchester United, and mate, you must smell blood here. The potential for another Howie 5-0 must be like it's on the cards, isn't it?
I mean, you've got to be careful getting too carried away. Manchester United's away record is slightly better than the home record as far as conceding goals are concerned. They've only conceded 16 goals on the road. So from our perspective, the fact that Onana has been dropped is probably a downside. Delight, Collier, Traore, Heaven and Martinez are all out as well. And the fact that Onana just hasn't even travelled, well, who are they going to play in goal? Ahead of the visit to Tyneside, Amarin's side drew 2-2 away to Lyon in the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final on Thursday. Points-wise, they've taken 17 Premier League points from a possible 45 from Old Trafford. But it's the fact that they've got the third best defensive record away from home, which errs on the side of caution for a 5-0 kind of prediction from Newcastle fans. 16 goals they've conceded, which is only bettered by Arsenal, which is 14. The thing is for Newcastle that I would be very surprised if they don't play an unchanged team today. It sounds like everyone's got a clean bit of health. Anthony Gordon has been training, albeit lightly, this week. I would be very surprised if Anthony Gordon is not on the bench today. We are still without Sven Botman, Lewis Hall, Jamal Lascelles. And of course, Joe Willock can't feature because of the concussion protocols. He will be available to play Wednesday, though, against Crystal Palace. We've still got a couple of players walking that disciplinary suspension tightrope. Joe Linton and Dan Burn managed to avoid getting booked against Leicester. The Brazilian needs to avoid a booking in the next 2 games in order to avoid a 2-game ban, whilst Blythe's favourite son, Dan Burn, will miss out on a similar punishment, assuming that he doesn't pick up yellow cards against Manchester United and against Crystal Palace. So, you're right. The Leicester game, great result. Newcastle winning by 3-0. I saw some people disappointed that it wasn't more. It could have been more. I was on the opposite side of the fence there. I thought it was a professional display. We kept a clean sheet, and that's what you need to do in these positions. And when you look at the result that Leicester got yesterday, 2-2 against Brighton, you think, yeah, that was a potential banana skin, and Newcastle have navigated it well. And two wins after the cup final tells you that Eddie's boys are still very much focused on the job in hand. And it is opening up for us. Really, it's when you look at the results yesterday, obviously Brighton dropping a couple of points. Forest, who lots of people at one point said were untouchable. Newcastle couldn't catch them. They were going to finish third. They got beat off Everton at home yesterday, despite the return of Chris Wood. Villa, as I said last week on the show and have done for the last couple of weeks, continue to be the main threat for a higher placed finish for Newcastle. 3-0 win at Southampton. Arsenal and Brentford playing out a 1-1 draw, again a good result. The only one that probably went a little bit south for us was Manchester City. They were 2-0 down against Crystal Palace at one point, but ran out 5 times winners. Maybe Joey Barton's criticism of Kevin De Bruyne this week provoked a reaction. Maybe that's what did it. But De Bruyne was unplayable yesterday, scoring a goal, creating a couple others, and back to his best. So they won 5-2. So the thing that's coming out of the current results though is that it's still very much in Newcastle's hands. If we can win these next 2 home games against Manchester United today and Crystal Palace on Wednesday, we will very much be, chasing a Champions League spot and could, depending on other results, almost be 1 foot in the Champions League. We'll certainly be in a Europa spot because that gap is opening up now between Newcastle United already and Fulham and Brighton. And Newcastle have a game in hand on Fulham, but are already 5 points ahead of them. And we've got 2 games in hand on Brighton now, and we're 5 points ahead of them. 2 wins this week could change the outlook of that. That suddenly that 5-point gap could be 11 points, and that means Newcastle's Europa League place is almost guaranteed. Probably not mathematically, but almost guaranteed. And then it's just that Champions League spot that Newcastle will be chasing down. But it's going to be great today. It always is against Manchester United. It's the fixture that you look for after the Sunderland game. If Sunderland are in the same division, it's the one you look for after that because of that 1990s kind of rivalry. And the emotion will be high because Eddie Howe's not there today. Newcastle fans will be chanting his name as loud and proud as usual. There's also a War Flags display, which was postponed a few weeks ago, which is a tribute to Kevin Keegan. So that is going to probably bring the house down as well. Great game to pick because obviously the ultimate Keegan versus Fergie battles in the 90s were something that we still talk about to this day. So the Kevin Keegan pre-game display will certainly have everybody up for it. And 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday, got to be honest, it's one of those kickoffs I do like. The crowd's always loud and raucous. Everyone's got a chance to have a few drinks before the match. And the atmosphere was better against Brentford. So a little bit more of that. And I think that's going to have Man United on the back foot. Early goal in this game, Newcastle will go on to win it 3-0, potentially 4-0. I've gone for a 3-0 win. Melly last night on our podcast went for a 1-1 draw. Optimistically, he said he's not confident. But a lot will depend on who goes in goal, who is going to step in for Onana. Melly also said he felt that the rest players today, Manchester United, because the second leg of the Europa game is this week and it's more important than this game. I'm not sure if he's going to rest players. He may have to rest players with injury, but who knows? Referee today is Chris Kavanagh, 4th Toon posting of the season for him. 2-1 win at Wolves, 2-0 home Carabao Cup defeat at Chelsea, and a 2-1 home loss at Fulham is the games he's been in charge of, and Peter Banks is on VAR. And just a shout out for the food bank who will be collecting, as usual, outside the Gallagher end. Please, if you go into the game, drop some cash into the buckets because Jamie Rubin always doubles what they take in cash. But I'm going for a 3-0 win, Ted.
Very nice. Very well. Funnily enough, I suppose we'll do score predictions for today, but we're going to change it up and do some odd predictions. Before we do that, we have a winner.
Oi!
We do. I was alive to it. I was like a cat. I was waiting for it in the comments, and Craig Lee, very nicely done. He's absolutely right. It's the Charity Shield.
Oi!
Newcastle United have one. Sunderland have one. But Middlesbrough don't. In fact, you have to go back quite a long way for this, mind you. Newcastle United got theirs in 1909.
After they won the league.
Sunderland got theirs in 1936 after winning the league as well. And Middlesbrough, never mind, so well done, Craig. There was Andrew DB he was in just shortly after then as well. So very, very well done. There'll be a another what the fact the next time. I know, Andrew. All right. We know you said it. Craig got there first, but you still have a favourite. Dear me. No, very well done. It was a little bit tougher than what I thought that one, actually, but yeah, there we go. Well done. Today, Steve, I can actually see quite a comfortable win for you. I'm going to go a 3-0. I think it's going to be a relatively easy win. I don't think it matters who goes in goal for Manchester United at the minute, because they just ain't a Manchester United team from what I'm used to watching anyway. So yeah, 3-0, I reckon. Rye, what's your score prediction for today? Then we're going to go with the big main predictions.
I was going to go for a big Newcastle United win, but obviously he's seen the light, and Onana can't catch a break, nor can he catch anything in the world. So I think it's time. I think it's a massive move here from Man United. Look, Almiron is under severe pressure, and the whole of Manchester United are under severe pressure. I mean, I'm sure Melly would have spoken documented it well to you, Steve, yesterday, how bad they have been ever since the change of Louis van Gaal and the
he loves Almiron. Loves him. He thinks Almiron's going to be the man to save Man United.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I mean, under Ratcliffe, it's all gone nothing but south, unfortunately, when he was...
he loves him as well.
He loves him as well. Well, yeah, no, look, I'm going to go for Newcastle United at least. I'm going to go 3-0 today. I don't think Manchester United are going to score. I just can't see where their goals are coming from, where their movement's coming from. There's talks this week of Garnacho being let go. There's been talks of the young midfielder that started for England. I can't think of his name right now, that he's going to be let go as well for Man United. Yeah, thank you, Manu. So... there's cracks written all over it. Newcastle United are not taking their foot off the pedal at all. They are literally putting it down. We saw that against Leicester. Today's going to be no difference. Plus, like we've said right off the top of the show, there is added spice to this without Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is a man absolutely loved and adored now in Newcastle United's history, and him on his hospital bed with Tyndall in there. I think they're just going to do it because they want that photo in the dressing room to send it to...
Tyndall's in the bed with them.
Of course he is. Wouldn't you be? I mean, they've won a cup. So I think, honestly, they're going to have a big win here today. It's at home, beautiful packed stadium. I think it's going to be 3-0 to Newcastle United.
So we've all gone for a Newcastle win. Just let that hang there in the balance.
Time to break the hoodoo, lads. Time to break the hoodoo.
It's time. Yeah.
So I did mention we're going to do this with a prediction. So I've done predictions slightly different for this week. So I'll give you the example. Sunderland's next 3 games. We've all got 3 games in the next 7 days.
Oh God.
Sunderland's next 3 games: Bristol City away on Monday, home to Blackburn during the week, and away at Oxford on Saturday. Sorry, Bristol City away Friday, home to Blackburn Monday, Oxford away the following Saturday. I've gone for 6 points out of the possible 9 there. I just can't see us picking up a win away at Bristol City. I think that's a very, very tough one for us. We've never really played well down there as far as I can remember, to be honest with you. But we should pick up maximum points against Blackburn and Oxford as well. So I'm going for 6 points for that one. Lads, how many points do you see us getting from that? So Bristol away, Blackburn at home, Oxford away.
Oh, geez. I'll start. I mean, I think you're going to beat past Oxford. I think you're going to beat Blackburn easily as well. I think that obviously Blackburn are just an absolute free fall, I think. And I think Sunderland, look, like we were just saying it as well, we need... you would want to see a little bit of, a bit of momentum going into what is the last penultimate, games. 4 games, 2 of them are away, 2 of them are at home as well. So look, and the big finish at QPR at home as well. Bristol City is going to be tough. Bristol City are right there. They are really pushing for promotion under Liam Manning. I'm really liking what I'm seeing for Bristol City. So this Saturday against Bristol City versus Sunderland, I think that's going to be one of the matches of the round for me to watch, just to see how they play out, because Bristol City are really pushing to be in that. And I think you could see potentially, if it does all work out, Bristol City and Sunderland playoff home and away, which will be very, very interesting to see who can get to Wembley from that. So Bristol City, for me, I'm going to have to sit on the fence and go for a draw. But for the other 2, I think Sunderland are going to easily beat Blackburn Rovers at home. And I think you will beat Oxford United as well. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win over Blackburn Rovers. And I'll go for a 1-0 win over Oxford United. So I'm going to see 6 points or 7 points in total, 2 wins, 1 draw.
Steve Rye's gone for 7 points. I'm a bit more of a pessimist, going for 6 points. What do you reckon for our next 3 games?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because once you secure your place, and we were talking about whether they pick the strongest team, now that they're in there, to the rest of the players. I'll say what Tom Dixon's saying. I'll say 5 points.
Okay, right. Steve will go. Steve, 5 points, right? I'm going to refer to this next week as well, by the way. There might be a little prize. There might be a little prize. You don't know.
Okay.
There might be. Anyway, Newcastle United up to the Premier League. Next 3 games. Man United at home today. You've got Palace at home Wednesday, and then Villa away on Saturday. I've actually gone for 7 points out of this one. I think you'll pick up the win today. I think you'll beat Palace at home as well. I think Villa, although Villa have been a little bit up and down with their form recently, I think a point away from home against Villa isn't a bad result. So I'm actually saying 7 points out of that one. Steve, what do you reckon?
That's what I've gone forward as well, 7 points. I think Newcastle will beat Manchester United. I think they'll draw with Palace, and I think they'll beat Villa. I think it'll be it'll be the other way around. I think that Villa game's the one that Newcastle really will treat like a cup final. I think they may go into that Palace game, and Palace will be motivated after losing yesterday. But I'm still going for 7 points.
Andrew's saying 9 knee bother. Roger Cook's agreeing with us. Tom, I think Tom was referring to Sunderland with the 5 points there. Likes it, yeah, that's fair enough. Right, what do you reckon for Newcastle United, mate? Man U at home today, obviously we've discussed that already. Palace at home Wednesday, Villa away on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, obviously, I've predicted a 3-0 win today for Newcastle United. I think that's 3 points in the bag. I don't think Man United are going to rock up at all. Crystal Palace, I think, could be a cheeky banana skin. We saw in the reverse fixture at Crystal Palace. I remember you guys had just lost to West Ham 2-0, and we were expecting a big performance against you, and you only came out about 1-1, I think it was, in the reverse fixture. So I think I'm going to go a 1-pointer shared there as well. And then against Aston Villa, geez, that's a tough one to predict, isn't it? Aston Villa are just so hot at the moment, and then they're cold, and then they're not. They've got the Champions League push and everything that they've got going on there as well. So it'd be interesting to see what type of team lines up there against it for Aston Villa against Newcastle. Newcastle, I honestly want to push. That is a massive, massive game for me, and I think I'm going to have to sit on the fence for that one as well. So I'm going to have to say 5 points out of the next 3.
Okay, right. Being brave and disagreeing. Okay, that's fine. Middlesbrough next, mate. Oh, they are just fun to predict. Middlesbrough's next 3 games: Plymouth at home, Wednesday. Wednesday on Monday. So Sheffield Wednesday on Monday, and then Norwich come to Borough next Saturday as well. I've got 5 points here, mate, and
nice.
I can see you. I can see you beating Plymouth. I think you'll get a draw against Wednesday. No, sorry. No. Draw against Wednesday and a draw against Norwich. You'll beat Plymouth. The next 2 will be draws. And I think the way you're playing right now, I think 5 points is probably about what you can expect from that. We'll go with you first though, mate. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm going to have to be, positive. I mean, there's no else way to be. We're not getting any points at all. 0. None.
God.
We're not winning ever again. I mean, no, honestly, I don't know. Plymouth is going to be tough. I can't. They're fighting for promotion. They put out a big win as well. They knocked off Sheffield United. Are we saying we're better than Sheffield United? I mean, I think we're all better than Chris Wilder, but we're not better than Sheffield United. So I think it's, honestly, I don't know. People in the chat are saying 6 points, 7 points. I'm going to say 4, maybe 4 if I'm lucky. Yeah, I think 4. We just can't score. We cannot put the ball in the back of the bloody net. And unfortunately, in football, apparently you need to do that to win games. So at the moment, we are just shot shy. We've not got any confidence in Iheanacho, no confidence in the shots on target. And yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say 4.
4 points. Okay. That is very conservative for you. Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. I hate it.
There's nobody predicting 8-0 and things like that.
We are down, mate. We are real down at the moment. It's real bad.
Yeah, I can tell. I'll give you a ring later on. Just make sure everything's all right, mate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve, obviously Plymouth, really good result against Sheffield United yesterday. Middlesbrough then go away to Sheffield Wednesday, who are also still kind of fighting with a little bit of lingering hope about the playoffs. And then Norwich come to Borough next Saturday as well. I've gone 5 points. Rye's gone 4 points. How do you see that going?
I'll go 6 for these games for Borough. I'm going to say they're going to turn it around. It's only a bad week. It's one bad week. They were on the up. They were going to be in the playoffs and everything was great. But two defeats and suddenly it's doom and gloom. But no, I still think Borough turn around. 6 points.
Very good, very good. And that concludes us. We've actually gone over time today, lads. That's because of Ryan excessively talking over the top.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, 100% agree. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Steve, enjoy yourself at the match today, mate.
Yeah, good luck.
We've got time for a couple of sherbets before then as well.
Oh, yes. Get me Sunday dinner first, though. Get me Sunday dinner first.
All right, lads. I think it's Steve's turn next week, so we'll see what he has lined up for us. And hopefully a few wins in the bag as well for us all.
Take care, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Three's a Crowd podcast will return. That's not a threat, it's a promise.